care President Ruto is out of money to respond to the floods disaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, Jimmy Wanjigi has decided this time round that he is not going to sit while things are not heading in the right direction. So Jimmy Wanjigi, you know him for being very controversial. Jimmy Wanjigi was flagged by Willis Otieno, and Willis Otieno, you I think know him, is one of those lawyers who represented Azimio during the presidential petition.
My side is Willis Otieno. I'm sure you all know him. He was my running mate in 2022. Nako hapa.
And if you remember that example of a plumber, then you definitely know who Willis Otieno is. Jimmy Wanjigi took to the media and decided to react to the ongoing floods that have rocked the nation, and specifically the shocking incidents of Mai Mahiu. Because if you remember yesterday, William Ruto toured the affected area. I think after that tour is when Jimmy Wanjigi decided to now go public and attack William Ruto over his hands-off kind of approach in leadership. So he chose to attack Ruto's style of leadership.
I don't care President Ruto is out of money to respond.
Before we continue with this remark or this statement from Jimmy Wanjigi, you know, because I have something very important and I also want to share with you the old video of what Jimmy Wanjigi told William Ruto. But before we continue with this analysis, please like this video, because that is the only way you support the work of our channel. And if you're not subscribed before, please subscribe to this channel. And to existing subscribers, thank you so much for making this channel grow. I want to begin by taking you back to Mwai Kibaki's first term.
Mwai Kibaki na hapa kwamba,
I'm talking about 2002, that period, to 2007. You know, that is the first term of Mwai Kibaki. And during that time, Uhuru was the opposition leader. And I remember seeing Uhuru, you know, there's also a video of him. He went public and said he was not comfortable with Mwai Kibaki's hands-off approach. You know, Mwai Kibaki, I think, was avoiding this issue of micromanaging those ministries. So he chose to give ministers an opportunity to work. So he was not interacting so much with the affairs of the ministry. So he left the ministers to perform their duty because he didn't believe in micromanaging. So I think what Jimmy Wanjigi is trying to tell us in the video that I shared, the part of the video, what he's trying to tell us is that Ruto is ignoring so many things. But if you look at it from the other side of the coin, maybe Ruto is also implementing the hands-off approach in these ministries. So he has left the various tasks or affairs of the country to the various ministries. So each ministry is supposed to handle its own affair. So for example, the issue of flood, this is supposed to be handled by the ministry in collaboration with the affected counties. That is why, if you remember the video I shared about Rigathi Gachagua and the statements he made about counties assisting affected people, Gachagua in that video said that he expected the counties to perform their duty of protecting the people against such calamities. So in this video and this analysis, ladies and gentlemen, the point of concern is what Jimmy Wanjigi has referred William Ruto to. I don't care Ruto.
I don't care President Ruto is out of money to respond to the floods disaster. Dear Kenyans, today I am deeply saddened by the devastating large number of Kenyans who have died injured, or have had extensive destruction to their lives during these flash floods. Equally, I am extremely disappointed with the inept and incompetent don't care Ruto, who has found it unnecessary to declare these floods a national disaster. This presidential indifference to the enormous human suffering of the Kenyan people is appalling and horrifying. I don't care Ruto must unequivocally apologize to the people for his contemptuously abandoning them. On behalf of myself and my family, I would like to extend my heartfelt condolences and sympathy to all the bereaved families and all those adversely affected by this unforgiving disaster. I stand in solidarity with you during this difficult time. Kenyans, in the last more than 72 hours of Kenya Kwanza government in action to set up and coordinate rescue and emergency services across the country, it has exposed a don't care Ruto as a government that is financially bankrupt. All Kenyans affected by this horrible disaster are entitled to receive full government assistance. After all, that is why we pay taxes.
That is a tag that he has labeled William Ruto. You remember last year during demonstrations when taxes were skyrocketing, Ruto was branded Zakayo, Zakayo. And that narrative was propelled by the opposition and by so many other Kenyans. And I understand there's a song that is about to be released that is titled Zakayo, and it's by Christina Shusho. But that is not something I wanted us to talk about in this analysis. So Jimmy Wanjigi, in his context, he is literally telling William Ruto to stop the hands-off approach that was employed by Mwai Kibaki, the one that I was telling you about, that Uhuru Kenyatta attacked in 2004 there. I think that is the time, 2003, 2004. That is the time Uhuru Kenyatta decided to react the hands-off approach of Mwai Kibaki. There's an advantage of not micromanaging. You're giving these ministries opportunity to work, the departments an opportunity to work. But there's a disadvantage in this government, because these ministries, despite the fact that they have been given that mandate to implement or to work according to the constitution, but you find that most of the time some of these decisions, they can't make them. They have to probably collaborate with the head of state, the head of public service, Felix Koskei. Sometimes they can't make a decision without the involvement of the head of public service, which is also okay. But they can't make a decision sometimes without the involvement of William Samoei Ruto, which is also okay. I remember the case of NHIF sometimes back there, whereby these hospitals were threatening to stop offering services to NHIF client. Why? Because the government had failed to pay in time. Now they were saying that they could not meet their bills. So the CS Nakumicha was forced to talk to William Samoei Ruto to release certain funds, and that is something that happened. And I think that's why the facilities, all the hospitals now continue to give their services. But even now, there is also another crisis. Apart from the doctor strike, there is a crisis within some of these private facilities. They are talking about stopping services because the government has not been paying them. And whenever they receive circulars from the NHIF, they are told to bring more reports. So they have literally become a stationary entity in this crisis of NHIF. So the remark by Jimmy Wanjigi, personally, I think Jimmy Wanjigi has a point there. And he's literally trying to tell William Ruto to stop the issue of hands-off. So perhaps if you watch this video and you're not subscribed, please take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. So until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.